St. Tammany Parish Board of Adjustment. It is December the 2nd, 2025, and we welcome you today. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I would like Ms. Lambert to please read roll call.
Mrs. Thomas?
Present.
Mr. Daly? Mr. Blosh?
Here.
Mr. Glockner? Mr. Swindell?
Here.
Mr. Sanders?
Here.
Mr. Horn? Madam Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. I would like for Mr. Sanders to act as a voting member today. Mr. Sanders is an alternate, has sat on our board for a couple of years, and so he will be voting today as a member, as a committee member. I'd like to make a couple of announcements for your edification. We would ask you to please silence all of your phones so that we can honor all the people that are talking. If you have an appeal or you are opposed to one of our cases, there are cards over here. You may get one and fill it out, bring it back up here, and then you will have an opportunity to talk after the case is presented in rebuttal. And with that being said, the public speaking is 5 minutes each side, and then 3 minutes for additional comments. We would ask that after we introduce a case and the case has been voted upon, that you leave the building if it's your case, so that we can honor the next case without any confusion and without people whispering and talking, and we just like to honor y'all that way. So with that being said, I would like to ask the board members, have you read the minutes from last month? If so, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
Motion by Mr. Blosh, second by Mr. Sanders.
Okay, would you please vote?
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you very much. All right, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get, I believe, Ms. Lambert, did you have a couple of announcements to make?
Yes, we have a request to postpone item number 2 on the agenda, which is BOA case 2025-4404 BOA. If you want to read it into the record.
Okay, thank you. And once we get to that, we'll vote on whether or not we want to postpone that or not. So we will start with case number 2025. Yes.
Just don't forget to remind them that we only have 4 voting members here.
Thank you. And that is a very important part. We only have, we normally have 5, and one of our committee members is not here today. With 4 members voting, it has to be a unanimous decision. Therefore, if one person opposes, then your case is going to be not going to pass. So I give you the opportunity at this particular time, if you would like to wait until 5 people are present, say in January, you have that opportunity. So I would need to know that when you step up, or even if you know now that you would rather wait until there are 5, then I would entertain that at this point. Is there anyone here? Yes, ma'am.
We'd rather wait.
And what is your case number?
2025-4404.
2025
That's on number 3.
4419.
419.
4419, yes, ma'am.
All right, and that was an after-the-fact variance to reduce the yard setback
Yes, ma'am.
from 25 to 2 feet. All right, then, do we vote
So,
on that?
yeah, so first we can address the first request and then we can address the second request.
Let me see if there's any other requests.
Are there other requests to postpone today? All right, then let me go ahead and ask the members of the committee if there is any opposition to postponing case 4404.
Well, you have to read it into the record and
And then
if
say.
anybody in opposition to the postponement. Okay.
Okay. Excuse me just a minute. I'm talking to my legal counsel here. All right, so we'll go ahead and address 4404, which is a request by an applicant in a CBF1 community-based facility district for a variance of a required 8-foot opaque screen on all sides of the property. The property is located 1846 LA Highway 22, West Madisonville, Louisiana. Owner and representative is Smith, Warhauser, and Liner LLC, Smitty Smith, who is not here today. Is there anyone here who wanted to address this particular, I believe that we do, address this particular case and the postponement of the case?
Only regarding the postponement.
Only regarding the postponement, not your reason for being here, but only regarding the postponement. Correct. Okay. Mr. Rayford?
I'm Jane Rayford.
Ms. Rayford, you want to address us postponing this?
Yes, I just, in the staff report for this.
Would you state your name and your
Sure.
address? Thank you.
Usually I'm too loud. Jane Rayford. I just want to clarify, in the staff report, it says, should the board be in favor of the requested variance, it should be subject to submission of a recorded notarized acknowledgement stating that should any adjacent property owner request the installation of the required 8-foot opaque fence along shared property lines, the applicant owner will construct the fence at their own expense. The landowners on 3 sides have submitted affidavits contesting the variance or objecting to the variance. And I just want to clarify for them that if this is postponed, is the owner going to be precluded from satisfying this requirement even if you granted the variance, because these affidavits are, as far as I'm concerned, of record now, stating that they oppose the variance, which to me means that they want the fence? Or should the landowners be submitting affidavits saying they want the fence?
No, we've received the documents that have been submitted. They were dropped off in my office yesterday. They're, notarized affidavit stating that the abutting property owners in question would like to have the fence. So at the next meeting, it will be included in a packet, and then the board will vote on the request.
Okay, so,
To include the affidavits that you and other people have submitted.
okay, so basically, the landowners don't need to submit anything else for the next hearing?
No,
No.
but however, we encourage you to come to the meeting if you're available.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak concerning this postponement? All right. Seeing none, I would like to, yeah.
I'll make a motion to postpone 4404.
All right, Mr. Blosh?
I was actually going to make a motion not to postpone the meeting, and the reason, and I guess he has the floor at this point, he's looking for a second, but I just wanted to say that it seems as though if we've got sworn affidavits that are already going to be placed into the record stating that this is the intent of the property owners, which I think lawfully we were agreeing to a variance, we would agree to a variance that would say, no, we don't want the fence, or we want the fence up, then are we just wasting these people's time and other people's time, and even the boards, the commissions?
But we haven't made a decision on that,
Okay.
and we haven't stipulated to him that that would be a reason that we would deny it if he is
Okay.
not going to agree to the fences. But we haven't heard.
The owner stated that he's still trying to reach out to additional property owners to see if he's going to be able to obtain the affidavit or not. And he also stated to me that he could not attend the meeting today. So that's the reason why he's requesting.
I'm going to vote against it.
Yeah, I'll take my my motion back.
Okay.
Ignore my motion, because I agree with Mr. Blosh.
Okay.
Maybe we should take this up.
All right, so Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that the request to,
Let her ask for it, if there was a second to the
Okay.
well, he's withdrawn.
There's a motion on the floor which was withdrawn.
So
Therefore,
I'd
I
like
would
to offer a
like,
motion that would deny the request to postpone the case, and let's move forward with it.
Yeah, I just want to confirm that, you know.
The motion to deny the request to,
Just a motion to deny, period.
right, okay.
So I just want to confirm that you understand that the property owner is, has not received one affidavit from one adjacent property owner at this time.
Brian?
Okay, so you still want to hear the case? Okay.
so you,
So we have a motion. I'm motioning that we
There's no-
deny the request to table or
So there's no
postpone.
motion, we're just going to hear the case.
Right.
Okay, I thought there was a motion or request by the applicant to do that.
There's a motion, there could be a motion to postpone the case. However, if there's no motion, then the
Okay, I
case is
understand what
going
you're
to be
saying. So the
heard.
applicant requested, but we don't have to make a motion to do that. We just want to move forward. I see, okay. Then I'll withdraw my motion as well. We'll just move forward with the case.
okay.
I apologize.
I'd like the motion to postpone it, because I think we need to hear from all parties as well. And if he's spending time to go and seek another party, I think you need to give him that gratitude.
I do too.
So I motion that we postpone it.
Put it to a vote, it's fine.
So motion by Mr. Sanders, and we need a second.
I'll second that, just for
Okay.
procedural sake.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded.
No, we got to vote.
Oh, we're just voting, okay,
For the postponement.
for the postponement. All right, please vote.
So we have 2 yeas and 2 nays, so motion fails, so the case will be heard.
The case will be heard next month,
No, this,
Now.
No, this one.
today. Y'all have really confused me on this one. This one's,
right.
it's not usually this complicated,
No.
I promise.
No.
All right, so then I guess,
Moving on to the
moving
next,
on.
to 4419. We have a request to postpone. If you want to come to the podium.
yes, you want to read it?
So we have a request to postpone from the property owners, which are here present, and they're coming to the podium, 2025-4419 BOA.
Okay.
Nanette Thorne.
And, thank you. And the 4419 was the request by an applicant in an S1 suburban residential district for an after-the-fact variance to reduce the front yard setback from 25 feet to 2, and to allow for an accessory building carpet to remain within the front yard. This was postponed from November, and you are requesting postponement.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Could you please speak to that?
Yes, ma'am.
Just because you're missing a member, and it has to be unanimous, so we would like to have all parties available for a vote.
All right.
I'll make
Any-
that, Madam Chair.
Any opposition?
Is there any opposition? I do not have a card. Is there any opposition in the room? Okay. Seeing as none, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chairman, I'll make the motion to postpone.
Motion by Mr. Blosh,
I'll second that.
second by Mr.
Thank you.
Swindell.
Thank you.
All right, so our next meeting will be in January.
January 6th, we'll send you a notice.
We'll send you a notification.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah, we do. We have to vote on that.
All right, now let's go ahead and vote on it.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you. All right.
We have a request to hear case number 2025-4461 BOA. So if we can pull this up ahead of the other cases.
Does that need a motion?
4461.
The chairwoman can do it as long as there's no objections from anyone else.
Is there an objection from anybody else? He has a meeting at, as I understand it, at 3 o'clock, so, all right. 4461, I'm just going to read it from here. I had it pulled. Pardon me. The request by the applicant in an HC3 Highway Commercial District for variance to remove 3 live oak trees. The property is located at 68500 U.S. Highway 190 Service Road, Covington. The owner is North Shore Land, Anthony Gillow. I'm sorry if I didn't say that correctly. Representative is Gulf States Construction Service Incorporated, and Mr. Jason Reibert. Would the staff please read their comments?
As shown in the attached plans, the property is currently developed as an automotive retail site. The proposed development is in addition to an additional building in addition to the parking area for designated area for vehicle storage. The tree survey identifies 3 live oak trees located within the footprint of the proposed vehicle storage area. The attached narrative explains that the trees cannot be preserved due to their proximity to the new building, incompatibility with vehicle inventory areas, and the substantial fill required to meet the grade and drainage requirements. Also, as you can see here on the second page in the chart, I am explaining, what the tree live oak trees have been graded as a B fair, and also it explains here in the paragraph how it should be mitigated. The owner is suggesting to mitigate with planting 18 live oak trees and pay into the tree bank. Due to the change in grade between the existing and proposed sites, staff does not object to the proposed solution. Should the board be in favor of the variance as requested, it should be subject to planting the required number of live oak trees, pay to the tree bank, and also making sure that the live oaks are installed in suitable planting soil. Should the board not be in favor of the variance as requested, it should be subject to require the preservation of the 3 live oak trees and submit a revised landscape plan.
Would the representative please come forward? State your name and address, please, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Jason Reibert, Gulf States Construction Services, 109 New Camellia Boulevard, Suite 100, Covington, Louisiana. As staff had mentioned, this case is as part of the North Shore Toyota's service expansion and vehicle inventory project. There was 3 live oak trees identified on the property. As staff also mentioned, given their proximity to the new building, its associated parking, and also the 3 to 4 foot grade differential between the existing parking lot and the proposed parking lot, there was no reasonable way to salvage those oak trees for reuse on the property. As part of the mitigation efforts, we plan to mitigate a little more than 50% of those live oak caliper inches on site and then pay the balance to the St. Tammany Parish Tree Bank.
All right. Are there any objections to this? Seeing none, hearing none, I will open to the board for comment and questions. Okay. All right. Are there any questions? Okay. Mr. Swindell.
We've had several requests over the last few years, specifically with commercial developments and oak trees. In several cases, we pushed back. I think we've gone both ways on it. I'll say I support this one primarily because of the change in grade. I think otherwise, I think personally it could have worked around it with the layout and everything. But I know that having the grade change, once you start filling on top of oak tree roots, the thing's going to die. So just make every effort you can to, I'll support this, and I just implore you to make every effort you can to make sure the oak trees that you plant actually survive.
We will, yeah, and I agree. As Helen could attest, we've developed a good bit in St. Tammany Parish, and most of our projects we do work around the oak trees where we can. This project is situated on a ridge, and if you go back to that back southwest corner, there's a 3 to 3.5 foot grade differential between the existing parking lot and the proposed. So where these new oak trees will be planted will be pretty much dedicated green space around the new detention pond. So I think they'll have ability to thrive much better than trying to salvage the existing.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the variance as requested.
Mr. Swindell moves to accept the variance.
Sorry, subject to the staff comments.
All right,
We have a second by Mr. Sanders.
okay,
Mr. Blosh, you have a comment?
You know, I was just going to second as well.
Okay.
But,
okay,
I'm good.
all right. Would you please vote?
Missing one vote?
Yeah, Mr. Blosh, did you vote?
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you. All right, moving on, then we will now hear BOA case 2025-4399. All right, this variance request is by an applicant to reduce the side yard setback from 15 feet to 1 foot to allow for an addition to an existing residence. Would the staff please read their findings?
The objective of the request is to allow for an addition to the front and side of the existing residence. The side extension is proposed to be situated 0.8 feet from the adjacent property line. The total size of the addition will be 345 square feet and will include a closet and a bathroom. Although no specific hardship has been identified, the proposed side addition borders a green space that features a tennis court and a golf course. The addition is not expected to cause any negative drainage issues or visual impacts to the neighboring properties.
Okay, thank you. Are there, all right, so I would ask, is there anyone here in opposition to this before we hear the case?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Would the person representing this please step forward, state your name and address, please, sir?
Yes, good afternoon. I'm Max Agnew. My address is 170 Country Club Drive.
Thank you. All right. What would you like to tell us today?
Well, the home, we love the home. It was built in 1958 to 1961. It seemed to be built before setbacks were really enforced or law, and the existing home is already right on the property line. And this is just an addition that kind of isn't adding, it's not much closer than the existing home. And I have a survey and some drawings and things if that's helpful.
We have those.
Yep.
Yes, we have 2 letters that were submitted in opposition.
Right. If the board members would look at the back, Mr. Richard Blossman has sent in a letter opposing this, and also we received from Ms. Dana Luke an email also expressing concern about the setback. There is no HOA. Okay. With that being introduced, would you like me to read this so that you can
Sure.
talk to it? The one from Mr. Blossman said, I own the parcel of land directly adjacent to the site of this requested variance, subject property being 170 Country Club Drive and owned by Max and Lauren Agnew. The 15-foot setback is absolutely necessary and must remain in place. The Agnews purchased the property in 2018 with a 15-foot side setback regulation. The home is on 2.2 acres, so why should they encroach on my property when they are not crowded in any way? Their lot is one of the largest in Covington Country Club, and they can add on to their house in another direction without violating the setback. I trust you will keep the 15-foot side setback regulation in place, and the Agnews appeal will be denied. The second one states, I want to express my concern about this applied variance. The setback of 15 feet should be adhered to, and that was all. Would you like to address this, sir?
Yeah, I guess my response to that would be that, like, the existing home is already pretty much on the property line, and this addition wouldn't change that and interfere too much, in my opinion. And I mean, the lot is, you know, kind of like abandoned tennis courts and a lot of forest. And with the architecture, this side of the house really was the only way that we could come out and build a much nicer bathroom and closet. It's 1961 mid-century, and the closets are literally, you know, like a foot deep, and the bathroom's very small and dated. And it just seemed like that's the only way to kind of expand for what we need. And yeah, I really think that since the house is already on the property line, adding another piece of the house that's on the property line won't interfere with the aesthetics or interfere with any development of that neighboring lot.
Okay, sir. All right. I'll open.
Any opposition?
Well, the opposition I've read, is there anyone here opposing? Okay. So we have heard the opposition, and I read that, and you have spoken to that. Mm-hmm. So there obviously is not a rebuttal because nobody's here to again say that. So you have spoken and refuted their disagreement. So with that being said, I will open it up for questions. Mr. Bosch.
Okay, Madam Chairman, this is more of a comment, and I'll just tell you this, just as some food for thought for the commissioners to consider. I've seen several of these cases, and most of the times, these type requests have been granted. However, there is one exception here, and I think it's something that we do need to consider. Generally speaking, when most of these requests have been made and approved in the past, they've been subject to the adjoining property owners being in full agreement with this. Unfortunately, we don't have this here. Mr. Agnew, obviously you did buy the property subject to the existing property or ordinances with regards to the property. So I'm having a hard time going against anything that the neighboring or adjacent property owners would have a problem with that, for whatever reason that may be. Now, as I said before, I've seen a lot of these pass in the past, but there again, we've had full agreement from the adjoining property owners, so I'm having an issue with that. Okay.
All right. Mr. Swindell, Mr. Sanders, any comments?
Did you have any kind of conversations with anybody around you before seeking this?
No, actually. But I think knowing now that there's opposition for sure.
Yeah, that would be a good piece of advice. Usually when something like this happens, go around and talk to your neighbors first before you put in. Mm-hmm. They can not be on your side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I'm looking at this drawing, I am making an assumption that these two homes to the right and to the left are the ones that...
So there's no home here.
This is just...
a tennis court and a golf course, and the other one...
And this is a home here?
Yeah. I don't know. They didn't put... I don't know if it's the adjacent property owner or not.
But that's quite a way away. And it's the way that this is looking like it from what they're showing is that it's, while it is on the property line, I find that if the staff had no objection to it based on the age and based on the way that it is situated on the property, that we need to take that into consideration as well. Mr. Sanders?
Mr. Swindell?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Swindell.
Yeah, this is a tough one because I agree with what Mr. Blash is saying. Normally, if the neighbors are good with it, we're usually pretty good with it. This one's unique in the space that almost all those requests are pertaining to houses that are not currently in violation of a setback and they need to do something, whether it's a pool house or a bathroom or something like that. This one's unique because the house was built long ago and is already in those setbacks. And so I think it's a reasonable request.
I do too.
I do find it like it's difficult. The adjacent property owner, regardless of what he has there, he's entitled to say yes or no, I support it or not. Seeing as though you haven't had a conversation with them, like if we deny it, then your path to challenging that is through the district court or whatever. I don't remember the reason why we postponed this from last month, and I don't know the procedures if he's allowed to postpone again. But knowing now that you have a neighbor, the adjacent property owner in opposition, I do think if you could postpone it again, you might think about touching base with Mr. Blossman to see if there's any way you could convince him to allow, to be in support of this so that you could more easily convince the group of us to support it.
Okay.
So that would be my suggestion, if procedure allows, to request a postponement and try to make that
Procedure does
contact.
allow for that.
So,
Okay.
Would you entertain that? Would that be something that?
For sure, yeah.
Because my sense right now is that we might not be able to approve it.
Yeah.
Even if one person votes not to approve
Right.
it, it's not approved.
Yeah.
So if you could go and talk with Mr. Blossman, and I think show him this, and then also the other lady. Do you know Mr. Blossman?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I emailed you the packet.
Okay,
So if you look through your email, you can read the letters that were submitted.
And Ms. Luke, Dana Luke. So if you could talk with them, if you would like to postpone, we can make a motion to postpone.
That's the right thing to do. Yeah, I had no idea about the opposition. I must have
Okay.
missed that.
Madam Chairman, maybe we should just also instruct them that it would probably be prudent to approach them, to ask them for letter of recognition if they are in approval with this, or bring them with you, one or the other.
Right.
That's how that would work better.
That's how it works. Okay.
But we would definitely need something from him in writing, since he submitted to us in writing that he opposed it. We would need something in writing that he has reconsidered.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you. Yeah. this
Thank
is
you for
great.
your time.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
I'll make a motion to postpone.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Vote, please.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you,
All in
Mr. Agnew.
favor, motion carries.
All right, our next case for the day would be BOA 4419, and that is a request by an applicant for an after-the-fact variance to reduce the front yard setback from 25 feet to 2 feet. It is in a suburban residential district.
So this case was postponed. We should go back to item number 2,
Okay.
which was requested to be postponed, but it did not get postponed. However, I would suggest to maybe hear this case at the end. Someone in my office is trying to reach out to Mr. Smith to see if he's able to come
Okay.
to the meeting.
All
So
right.
if that's okay, then maybe we can move on to item number 4, which would be 2025-4449.
4404? Or is it-
4449.
Before we move on, can I make this comment?
Yes.
I agree with Mr. Blosh and what he had to say about hearing this case. However, since we only have 4 members, I suspect that just after what we went through last month with him, that he probably would, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he probably would have opted to postpone again, just due to only having 4 voting members here. So should we go ahead and grant him the grace of doing that relative to us having 4 members and not 5? So, Mr. Blosh, if you would support that, I would be okay with that.
Which goes?
I don't know that I want to seem unreasonable, but I certainly want to provide a reason to the people who've been here
If you
twice
can,
now.
Sure.
if you can turn
I
on
get
the
that too.
mic.
And I don't know that it's,
If you can turn on your mic,
oh, I'm
please.
sorry, I apologize. Yeah, again, I don't want to seem unreasonable to the applicant. However, we have seen this case once, and then it was postponed at the end. I don't think that there's going to be anything that's going to change my mind in terms of how this is going to be, how it's going to be handled, because as one of the prudent ways to handle this is to require that the fence be erected if only one of one of the adjacent property owners is requesting this. We have 3 affidavits, sworn affidavits, now not just a letter, but a sworn affidavit saying this is what I want. So to me, that's pretty powerful, and I don't know that I could change my mind, so I would not be in favor of extending this even, you know, even so.
Fair enough. No problem. Just I suggest pushing to the end then, and let's see if we can get in touch
All
with
right, let's push it to the end.
I have no objection
And
with that.
if he does in fact come, then we'll hear him out, and then maybe he will have further
The
information.
lady in the audience raised her hand, so I don't know if she has objection or if you want to hear what she's.
Can I just ask a question?
Please.
Jane Rayford again. I just want to ask, we understand that potentially, it seems to me the only thing you can get is consent from the landowner that's down to the, I'd say the south, it's kind of in the L shape of the property per the plat, the Estrada property. And I'm not sure of the other landowners. We can't control that landowner, and we don't have a problem if he doesn't fence that portion. So the question is, well, what if he comes forward with consent from that landowner? What does that mean for the landowners on the other sides of the property? I mean, does that landowner trump for lands owned by other people? I'm kind of befuddled as to, even if he shows up with something from that other landowner, where does that get us?
If he states that he's going to build the fence as stipulated by what the staff recommended, do you still have an objection if he builds the fence?
Oh, absolutely not. All we want is the fence.
Yeah.
Okay.
All we want is him not to get a variance where he doesn't have to build a fence. So my
Right.
question is, even if he gets that landowner to say, I don't need a fence, what does that mean?
But the case will be, you know, if the board decides to hear the case, this is when it's
Yeah.
going to be
Well-
decided.
We'll sort through all that when we hear the case. But
Okay.
we're all talking the same thing.
Okay, I just,
Yeah.
you know, in terms of if it assists, we understand we can't control that land.
But my understanding too is that the people that were objecting to it are not objecting to it if he in fact builds the fence.
Right.
So is that not correct? I thought you wanted the fence.
She wants the fence, but
Okay.
let's
All right, we'll
discuss
just
when.
wait until the end.
Right.
I'm sorry to inconvenience you, but I also want this to be adjudicated fairly here.
So that was my point. Yeah.
Okay, so
We moved it 4449.
all right, we are moving on to 4449, and that is a request by an applicant for a variance to reduce the depth of the required street landscape area from 20 feet to 4 feet 6 inches, and to reduce the depth of the side yard landscape area from 35 feet to 10 feet. It is a zoning property in a light industrial district. And I would like for Ms. Lambert to read the findings of the staff.
In regards to the first request, the request is to reduce portions of the required street landscape area to 10 feet and to 4.6 feet at locations where emergency exit doors, landings are proposed. While no hardship has been demonstrated, the following standards should be considered. Under the Unified Development Code, the required depth of the street planting area may be reduced to a minimum of 10 feet for up to 20% of the length of the property, provided that compensation depth of this street landscape area is added elsewhere to maintain the overall required area. The provision allows for reduction of approximately 220 square feet of green space. Although the proposed reduction of the depth of the landscape area along Bosworth Street exceeds the allowable 20% adjustment, the required green space is offset by additional landscaping area along Coast Boulevard. The depth of the street landscape area along Coast Boulevard is increased by 10 feet, resulting in a total depth of 30 feet. Other than the required emergency exit doors, the facade of the building along Bosworth Street will not include windows, driveway access, or parking spaces. Business activities, parking, and driveway access will be concentrated along Coast Boulevard. Should the board be in favor of the requested variance, it should be subject to submitting a landscape plan detailing the total square footage of reduction of green space along Bosworth and provided along Coast Boulevard and meeting the required number of Class A and Class B trees. Should the board not be in favor of the requested variance, it should be subject to submitting a revised landscape plan meeting the 20-foot in-depth landscaping area along Bosworth Street. In regards to the second request, it's to reduce the depth of the landscape area abutting residential zoning from 35 feet to 10 feet along the proposed parking area and from 35 feet to 10 feet along the driveway. While no hardship has been demonstrated, the following factors should be considered. An 8-foot opaque fence will be provided as required. The required number of Class A and Class B trees will be provided. And the reduction of the total square footage of green space is mainly along the parking lot and to where the driveway is proposed to be located. Also, while this is not part of the staff report, I just want to verbally state that the property that is to the east of the property in question, if you take a look at the map that is attached here, or the aerial, there's a request on the agenda this evening at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. The owner is requesting to rezone his property to HC2 Highway Commercial. Now, obviously, the board has not voted on it, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Should the board be in favor of the requested variance, it should be subject to submitting a landscape plan meeting the required number of Class A and Class B trees. Should the board not be in favor of the requested variance, it should be subject to submitting a revised plan meeting the required 35-foot in-depth landscape area along the east side of the property. I also provided additional information. If you take a moment to look at the aerial one more time, you notice that the other parcels of land that are developed commercially across the street and to the west are legal non-conforming uses. It conforms to the zoning, however, it does not meet any of the parking or landscaping requirements. So this is definitely going to be an upgrade to the area.
Okay, thank you. Will the people that are representing this case please come forward? And are there any objections while we're here? Okay.
My name is Wilfred Lewis. I live at 129 Weatherly Cove, Slidell.
Yes, sir.
And I own the property. And we had this rezoned light industrial last year with the provision that we didn't access from Bosworth Street. And we put a privacy fence in the rear and the side. And everything on the east side, which Joe Scott owns, is trying to get rezoned to highway commercial, I think. And that's all vacant land. And we wouldn't be intruding with any neighbor, you know. And across the street is St. Tammany School Board, which parks on the ditch. Mm-hmm. Everything we would do would be off-site. Nothing would be interfering with traffic on Coast. We have sufficient parking if we can get the side area on the east where we can have our parking, and we're good with everything.
Okay, sir. Anything else you'd like to comment on?
No, we have plenty of green space in the front. We have, like Ms. Helen said, that we have 30 feet that we can compensate for the side. In fact, we have 40 feet in the front.
All right, and so let me go ahead and open it up to the board for questions. Mr. Blosh.
Okay, yes, sir. I'm just curious. Now, describe to me what you're talking about in the front in terms of having more than 40 feet in the front.
Well, we'd end up with the depth of the building, the 35 feet in the front, and the building being 100 feet, it'd be 135. We have 175 feet, so you'd have 40 feet in the front.
Okay, in terms of a setback.
Instead of setback.
You'll have a 30-foot green space.
Yeah, 30-foot green space.
Okay. Now, you say that you were approved for rezoning, and I see that the L1, and that was part of the agreement to put a fence in, you're saying?
Part of the agreement was no access from Bosworth. In other words, everything had to be accessed from Coast Boulevard.
Okay.
So we agreed to give up the access from Bosworth, which cut our building down some already. So we can get the side yards that we need. We have enough parking for like 12, 14 vehicles off-street.
Okay, and what about the rear in terms of?
35 feet.
But the plantings and such?
Yes, we have 35 feet of green space in the back, which is required between commercial and residential.
Right, okay.
And we agreed to a privacy fence in the rear, too.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're pretty much taking care of the neighbors that exist.
Right, that's my concern right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that is that little buffer area coming between it.
Yeah, 35 feet, which we agreed to that, and we agreed to put a privacy fence in the back, in the rear.
Okay. All right.
Good.
Any other questions? All right. If there are no further questions, then I will entertain a motion.
Assuming that we need to do these in two separate motions?
I
This
am,
approval?
there's, if we're in favor, then yes. with
Okay,
the-
so I'll do
that.
two separate ones. I'll make the first motion to
Because you've got
approve
two different variance requests.
reducing the depth of the required street landscape from 20 feet to 4 feet 6, subject to the staff comments for item number 1.
Do we have a second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
All in favor? Motion carries.
All right, and I'll make a second motion to reduce the depth of the side yard landscape area from 35 feet to 10 feet, also subject to the staff comments. That's for item 2.
We have
Okay.
a motion by Mr. Swindle and a second by,
All right, so it's been
Mr.
moved and
Blanche?
seconded with the provision that, that the Class A and B trees and that
Sure.
that the landscape be.
We're going to have landscape drawn by Chuck Damien is handling that for me.
Okay, all right. So it's been moved and seconded. May I please have a vote?
all in favor? Motion carries.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good
Good luck.
afternoon.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year.
Okay. This one, so we're now going to, yeah, where it is, 4461. There it is. It got misplaced. All right, we're moving on to staff case 2025-4460, request by an applicant for a variance to reduce the required front yard setback from 25 feet to 20 in a suburban residential district. Would Ms. Lambert please read the staff
Just a
findings?
moment, Just a moment, I'm just trying to contact my office in regards to.
Just give us half a second, we're still trying to contact the office.
Four, 460.
4460. Okay. All right, the staff findings will be read by Ms. Lambert.
The objective of the request is to reduce the required front yard setback from 25 feet to 20 feet to maintain 10 foot of land between the rear of the proposed single-family residence and the adjacent canal. While the property technically extends into the canal and could accommodate the full 25-foot setback, doing so would leave a 5 foot behind the home for the staircase and access to the elevated structure. The minimal clearance would position the staircase almost at the canal's edge, raising potential safety concerns for residents entering or exiting the residence.
Okay. All right, who is representing this case? Please step forward, state your name and address, please, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Darlene McCormick, and the address is 54499 Highway 433. And that 5 additional feet, if we could move the house up, then that would allow us the footage that we need in the back. And also, the the house has a bulkhead on the property by the land, and a bulkhead construction has like a 10-foot rods that come into the land. And so when we put the pilings down, we wouldn't want to damage the structure of the bulkhead. I don't know what you call it, the bulkhead structurally. So if we had it, we could do it.
I understand.
Sorry about that.
No, that was clear.
Okay, all right.
All right, is anything else?
No, I did reach out to all of the abutting neighbors, and they have all agreed that, you know, there's not an issue, that if we should be able to move the house up, there's not an issue.
We've had similar cases to this, and it's an unusual area where there are some unusual concerns about some of the codes making sense
Right.
in this particular area. Is there any opposition to this?
None.
Okay. I did read your statement. So with that being said, I'll open the floor to the
Mr. Swindell?
Mr. Swindell.
I just want to thank you for doing all the due diligence with the no objection letters from your neighbors. That's fantastic. And secondly, just to reiterate what Mrs. Thomas just said, like I think in these unique circumstances where houses have to be on pilings and you know, we're going to see this over and over again with houses getting elevated in the parish too. We're going to have some compromise that makes sense for the area. So I think this obviously is one of those cases. So I'll support it for sure.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Blanche.
I just have to trumpet what Mr. Swindell has said. We see these over and over and over again. We've never turned one down that I can remember anyway. It just seems reasonable to me.
Thank you.
All right. So do I hear a motion? Mr. Blanche? No, Mr. Sanders, I'm sorry.
I move that we take the request as accepted.
Okay.
As displayed.
Okay. So you're saying as stated to reduce the front yard setback from 25 to 20. All right. All right. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Mr. Blanche, did you have another comment?
I've talked enough.
All right. Please vote.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your help.
And Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
I would like to just advise the board that we've been able to, you know, speak to the property owner. You know, once again, he's just asking to, if possible, to just consider postponing the case until next month. He's trying to complete gathering all the, you know, the information. And I know that, you know, it's been stated, I'm just asking again if there's a possibility for the board to consider.
I would move that you do so, just because of the situation where if the other party does not agree, there's no other alternative anyway, so just give them that shot.
All right. So,
Well, the case isn't before us right now.
right. Can we discuss this at the end when the case comes before us? Because we've put it off to the end.
Just trying to not rush him to come, and I do understand your point here. I think he,
Yeah, you should probably tell him to come. Because they can hear the case without him.
I understand. I'm just asking.
What is your counsel on that? Wait till the end? Encourage him to come, and if he can't come, then we'll just make sure he knows that we're going to hear the case. I'm guessing.
Yeah, because we've asked twice, we've discussed it twice, the postponement.
Okay.
So he's a doctor. He's in surgery, and he's not
Okay,
able
that
to
might
do
be that might be a game changer. That's really, I mean, that's really not his fault. I wouldn't want to be on the operating table and him say, okay, that's good enough. I don't know.
All right, so
I'm going to say this. I agree with Mr. Blanche wholeheartedly, but I'm going to make a motion that we postpone solely based on the on that we don't have 5 voting members from a procedural perspective. If it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass, and we'll take it up at the end. But I think we owe him at least to make that motion and vote it down. So I'll make a motion to postpone based on the fact that we don't have 5 voting members.
Let's read it back in the record then, the case number.
Yeah, sure. So for case number, this is 2025-4404. I'll make a motion that we postpone that case to January based on the fact that we do not have 5 voting members.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Swindell and a second by Mr. Sanders.
All, please vote. Wait,
I did have a comment about this.
There's
before
a
we did vote. And look, I don't want to be a hard behind about this or tough about this. Quite frankly, if it were me in this situation and I was looking for a variance, I'd be at that meeting. I wouldn't schedule a surgery. I wouldn't concern. I'm going to try to do the best just to look aside. I feel for these folks. They're coming back a third time, it looks like, you know. And so, to me, I think that, and it's just my own feelings. I'm just letting this out for everyone to hear this. I think that it doesn't help your case when you don't show up for a application for variance for a property that you knew when you bought the property. And I'm not making the case or anything like that, but just to me, it seems like you take it a little bit more serious. I would not book a surgery.
but what if it was an emergency surgery? Or what if there was nothing to do about it?
Do we know this?
Well, we don't, and
Okay.
we really can't say.
Right. And
Vote on the postponement.
Let's just
And
take
it
a
doesn't
vote.
matter. It doesn't matter, but
On the
we have a
postpone.
second, and we'll go ahead and vote, I guess. But I just feel bad for these folks here because
I do
it's
too,
not-
and I'm sorry for your inconvenience. I genuinely am. You have on record stated what your objection is, so if you don't want to come back next time, you wouldn't have to. But I have a feeling you're a bit tenacious and you will come back. Okay. All right. We have a motion on the floor. Would you please vote?
All in favor of postponement until January.
Okay. Merry Christmas. I'm sorry you had to come.
Yeah, thank you.
But we'll see you next month. We'll see you in 2026. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so we're at 4462.
We're at 4462.
Okay, our next case is BOA case 2025-4462, request by an applicant in an I-2 industrial district for an after the fact variance to increase the width of the driveways from 35 to 45 feet and from 35 to 59 feet. The property is located 74890 Highway 25, Covington. The owner and representative are ARCK Properties and Richie Mitchell. If you would please come forward, sir. Is there anyone in objection? But we're going to have to listen to the staff findings first. Okay, so.
As per the approved landscape plan, the subject property is 719 foot long, and the street buffer, the property is 719 foot wide along the street buffer, thus allowing two-way driveways which must comply with the 35-foot maximum width. Although the approved plan shows a 35-foot aggregate driveways, the as-built plan provided shows a 59-foot driveway and another one that is 45-foot, and a 45-foot driveway. The objective of the request is to allow for 2 driveways to remain as constructed and as shown on the as-built plan. The Unified Development Code established maximum driveway width to reduce potential conflict with pedestrian and cyclists, discouraging excessive vehicle speeds at entryways and maintaining continuity in the street landscaping area. The site has successfully passed its final landscaping inspection in accordance with the approved plan. Access to the site is provided via a private road, and because the property is situated at the end of the street where there's no pedestrian or very little pedestrian activity, the applicant has requested a wider driveway to accommodate larger vehicles, which is common to industrial areas.
Okay. All right. All right, sir, would you please step forward, state your name and address?
Yes, ma'am. Richie Mitchell, 466 Trailhead Drive, Abita Springs, Louisiana.
Thank you. What would you like to talk with us today about?
This was submitted as 35 feet by my builder. There's no way, and I didn't realize that in the very beginning, that I got to get a 74-foot truck in a driveway that's 35 foot long on an angle. There's absolutely no way. It's physically impossible on the way that he's got to come in that I can get him in there. I own the property, but I also manage the company that is leasing these buildings, and it's insulation company, and we have it's 53-foot box trucks with a 20-foot tractor pulling it, and on 35 feet there's just no way that I can get it in there. What we did was we got a truck, we come down the road, and we basically traced out where we could come in, and and how much land we had to use, and that's where we got our footages for the driveway.
Okay. And you have submitted your final landscape inspection?
Yes, ma'am. It's been approved.
Okay. And looking at this, you can see that what you're stating would be virtually impossible to do.
Yes, ma'am.
If you, right. Okay. Is there any objection to this request? And seeing where it is, and there's nothing behind you. So I'm going to open it up for questions. Mr. Blush.
I'll just say that there is obviously a hardship that's created by the angle of the road, because if you headed north, there's just no way you're going to make that turn. Coming from the north, yeah, you can get away, you can do it, but not headed north side. I mean, yeah, this just seems to be a no-brainer. You know.
Mr. Swindell?
Well, I think to your point, I think we're talking about the two drives that come into that lot, right?
Into the lot.
Not what comes on 59.
Okay, I'm
or 25.
It's on the. It's not on 25.
Right. Okay, I apologize.
It's off
This
of
one right
25.
here.
So listen, my comment is this: like, had you been in front of us prior to this actually being installed,
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet you would have convinced the board that we would all be in support of it. Kind of sucks now you're having to spend extra money because now you had to be in front of us, all that stuff.
No, I get it. And
You know.
there was. I don't want to go into a long, drawn-out thing, but my builder was the worst, and is absolutely positively the worst.
None of it matters. What I hope you go back after him after the extra fees you've had to pay to be in front of us to get this variance. Like if he made the decision, then he's accountable for it. But anyway, I support it. I would have supported it had you done it, had it been a before the fact.
I appreciate that.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Blush, are you?
Yeah, no, I apologize for that. I was looking at the wrong thing, but did you want to make the guy famous, or? Yeah.
It's Matt Lamb.
There you go.
He's horrible, and he's.
We appreciate your commentary.
Yes, ma'am.
With that being said, if there's no further discussion, I would ask that you vote. Oh, well, first of all, I'd like to have a motion on this.
I love doing
I'll make a motion to approve the variance as requested.
Motion by Mr. Swindell,
I'll second.
Mr. Blush seconds. Would you please vote?
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
all in favor, motion carries.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. I hope you get him. All right, so we have one left, correct? All right, so our final for this afternoon is 2025-4463 Board of Adjustment And the request is by an applicant for an after-the-fact variance request to reduce the required landscape and natural buffers from 50 to 25 on the south and east sides of the property, landscape and natural buffer from 25 to 13.7 on the west side where the residence is located. Would, Ms. Lander, would you please read the staff findings?
The objective of the request is to allow for a 25-foot natural and landscape buffer along the south, east, and west sides of the property, and to allow for the required natural and landscape area to remain at 13.7 feet where the residence is located. Consideration should be given to the request to reduce the size of the required natural and landscape buffer area to 13.7 feet where the existing single-family residence is located, considering there's no violation of the required, and here it should say required 10-foot side yard setback under the L2 large lot residential district and not 15. However, no hardship has been demonstrated to grant the requested variance to reduce the size of the natural landscape area along the sides and rear of the property, considering that the property is 10 acre in size and more than 300 foot wide. Note that no objection letters have been provided by the abutting property owners.
All right, thank you. All right, would you please come forward, state your name and your address?
Gina Bloodsworth, 14390 Brewster Road, Covington, Louisiana, 70433.
All right, ma'am. All right, the floor is all yours.
We're requesting a reduction of the natural buffers surrounding the property. We have no objection letters from both neighbors on each side. We will obtain as much as possible of trees along the side, but the structure was built, as you can see from the images, the aerial view, slightly closer to the property line in that section of the 10 acres as it should have been.
Okay. I have a summary of the land clearing buffer and landscaping requirements. Was that from the?
Yes, this is just to explain what the
Where
buffer.
they, okay. Okay. Seeing that no one has objected to this, I will open this case up for discussion by the committee members. Or would you like a little time to take another look? This one confused me, I have to say, just a little bit because of the size of the lot, and then the request seemed a bit.
So to explain a little bit, it was a 60-acre parcel of property that was owned by a gentleman that intended to develop a subdivision. He never could do that, so he broke it up into, he took the east side and separated that into 3 properties that were purchased. So going from east to west, 1, 2, we were this last one. He was saving the rest of the property for his children, who within several months decided they didn't want the property. So he subdivided that and sold it. So we were kind of this property line was the kind of one that wiggled a little bit because our original stakes got moved by the survey company after they decided to sell the property to the west. So our property line was the one that was originally the end of the 3 properties to the east, but then became kind of the middle of the road when they sold off the other pieces. It was not an issue. We've been living there over a year already, and it was never an issue until they resold the property directly to our west. When they had to get all their surveys done for them to purchase the property is when this was discovered. So we didn't even know that this was really an issue until they purchased that piece of land.
Okay. All right, thank you for that.
We wanted to build to that side as well because we do have future plans to build a home in front. This is a barn dominium. So it's, you know, a 60 by 100 building with porches and lean-to that was intended to be like a big garage with a temporary living area prior to us building a house that would be situated more to the east side of the property to kind of give you an idea of what our future plans were.
Okay. All right. With that explanation, Mr. Blosh, I'll open the floor for questions.
I'll just remind the board that although there is no objection to this case, we've had several cases like this where there has been plenty of objection to carving into that 50-foot side yard setback, as well as the rear in some cases. I'm very reluctant to agree to this in terms of a wholesale, let's just chop it back to 25 feet. Now, with regards to the house, in the setting, we have made provisions for that in the past where we've allowed that buffer to be relaxed for driveways, for natural drainage, areas, and as well for parking, for side yard or side house loading of garage, a garage setting. So there is an issue here, not that there's anyone here to stamp against it, but we have in so many cases, and I think you'll all remember some of these cases if you've been here long enough, you'll remember that we have in fact said, no, we can't do this, and we've had plenty of objection to it in this specific area on Brewster Road. So that would be my only statement that I'd make about it. I would not be in favor of a full wholesale 25-foot reduction all the way down the east side or the southern border, but I would make provisions for where the present residence is at this point in time. But that's as far as
That's really the main concern, is where the structure is already built. And if you look at the aerial view, we haven't even cleared a lot of the property.
Right.
It's really from the structure to Brewster on that east side, on that west side, I'm sorry, that is, kind of too close. And we'll plant trees from the building to Brewster to kind of fill in that space, but it's just that part really where the 100-foot structure is. Yeah, I mean, we have almost over 1,300 feet, so it's just that 100-foot portion that's really the concern.
Okay.
Well,
no. That was. She was referring to the fact that we weren't going to request you to tear the building down. No, that was never
please
my
don't.
intent.
No. Well, and
yeah.
the staff did find that that it's not in violation of the required 15-foot side yard setback under the large lot residential zoning
It's actually,
district.
the setback is actually 10 feet. That's what I corrected verbally.
Okay.
Tell her to tear it down.
We aren't going to make you tear down your house.
I greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, I think, and I think if I can just clarify what Diana was saying about this, basically, if that structure were to be removed, then those side yard setbacks we probably would want to reinforce to the 50-foot measure.
Okay.
But I guess that's for the commission to decide at this point in time.
All right. Are there any other comments from the board? Mr. Swindell.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Blosh. As we get to making a motion regarding the west side of the property, do we need to specify the length that we're reducing it? Because like I would not be in favor of just wholesale reducing the whole west side to 25 feet.
I agree.
For sure where the house
I
is
agree
and where
with
it's currently
that.
cleared.
But it says, and it is, when it says landscape and natural buffers from 50 to 25 on the south and east sides of the property, that implies the whole property.
Yeah, but I don't.
But that's
I
not-
won't vote in favor of that, and it doesn't sound like.
But I
Mr.
don't
Blosh
think
will
that's
either.
what you're talking about.
Really, it's not. We haven't, like I said, we haven't cleared the last 800 feet of the property. So the south side, and really from our structure back, and even the east side, I mean, that's way open. It's really just this area where our structure is and the driveway leading to Brewster, which we do know now that our driveway is going to need to be shifted because of the way it's crossing over the property line. So we want to take about half of it and shift it to the east, leaving the portion that is on our property, leading up to the garage door.
So just looking at the photo, I mean, it looks generally like from the house to Brewster is not, that's all driveway. So right, there's already nothing in that in that buffer. Can you estimate how far behind the house you don't currently have trees on that side, on that property line? Maybe 50 feet?
Maybe, yes.
I mean, so is it good enough for us to just say from 50 feet behind the house to Brewster? Would that be? like that way we don't grant them grace for
So-
the entire west property
So
line.
the property is let's just say 1,400 square feet. So if you divide it in half, then I think, so it comes to 700. And then if you,
Okay, we'll just say half. I mean, I don't care.
Well,
It's
it's
just
not
we need to
even
put a
half,
restriction on it.
so if you put a restriction that you will allow the clearing on the west side from Brewster all the way up to the residence, and then on the west side. I'm sorry, yeah. You would allow the west side, clearing of the west side from Brewster to the residence, as well as in between the residence and the property line. And that would be the
But how far
variance.
past the residence along the property?
Can I
line? That's
offer
what I'm
this
asking.
as maybe as a solution to just say, as you said, from the existing structure, 50 foot back, 50
Right.
feet from the rear.
I mean, I'm good with that.
you know,
We
south of that.
need to put a number on it.
Yeah.
Right, because we have nothing built back there yet, you know?
Yeah, and should you want to infringe on that later, you'll have to come back to the board. Make a
Right.
request. I mean, that's just what it amounts to.
So
Okay.
50 feet behind the residence, and
Existing
then,
structure, yeah.
and then from the residence to Brewster.
To
Correct.
Brewster.
On the
yeah.
west side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
However, can we make this too subject to the fact, because you are going to change that driveway, correct, as the drawing shows?
Right, so the drawing that I submitted, we would like to, you know, obviously we have to shift it over to stay on our property. And then it's so hard to back out onto Brewster Road, it's so busy. We would like to have that turnaround area. There's already an area on the east side of the property that's cleared naturally from the trees. So we would like to utilize that for driveway as well. So have that circle.
Yeah, your circle driveway is not going to come into that 50-foot buffer
No.
side, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
It
Well,
will?
It will or will not?
Well, so
It looks like it will.
the very edge of it, I believe when we measured from the property stake that's there, it was 25 feet to where the apron would kind of curve out,
Okay.
just at that point of Brewster Road. Just
You're
to
right.
utilize what's already open there instead of having to tear down any more trees or remove any more trees.
All right, so could we, so that's a separate issue from the first. So the first request about the west side. This request is now about where the driveway infringes on the no-cut buffer at Brewster Road on the east side of the property. Now, so you don't have to do any more clearing, is what you're saying? The driveway would go in an area that already has no trees?
When I shift the west side, I believe I will have to remove 1 or 2 trees.
See, I don't think we should decide that right now.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the west. 'cause
The
I
west
think
side
that-
is the side that's too close.
Well, not looking at your drawing, and granted, it's not an engineered drawing, but just judging by the way this is hand drawn into to this sketch that we're looking at with your
Yes, sir.
circle drive, it looks like the east side of your driveway pretty well infringes on the 50-foot no-cut side yard buffer on that side.
okay, if I can interject just real quick, you have come before the board with a request of 2 variances, not anything to do with this driveway.
Right.
So we would be doing you a disservice, although I think the feedback is going to do you a service from the people on the committee. But we can't really vote or talk about approving your driveway or anything else on this particular case.
Well,
just so you understand that.
Right, but so the original request was to reduce both the east and the west side to 25 feet so that I could fit that driveway where the clearing is.
So that does
You know,
play
so
into that.
it plays into it for maybe, 30 feet off of Brewster, but then the rest would remain with the trees that are there now.
See, I don't know how
You
we
know.
can vote on something we don't know
Right.
specifics for. That's, what you're asking for right now is just wholesale from the front of the property to the rear of the property, 25-foot buffers on the sides. We can vote
Okay.
on that because we know exactly what you're talking about. But
Right.
as far as a driveway, that may or may not change.
Okay, so if we did that and voted on the 25 feet on the east side, it would eliminate us even discussing the driveway because it would be within that 25 feet.
Right.
Is
If that were approved, yeah, if that were approved, but
Right. And I don't even need it the whole way. I just need the apron to be able to,
Right.
come out a little bit so that you have the room to turn in and out.
I just think it's a little bit premature at this point.
All right, so this is what I would recommend. Like,
Okay.
I'll tell you, the confusion for me lies with the fact that all I have is a hand sketch. I don't have a tree survey. I don't have anything that marks like what exists, what doesn't exist.
Right.
Okay.
And there needs to be more specificity in exactly how far from Brewster Road on the east side of the property you need to infringe on that buffer. What I would recommend is we vote to postpone, you gather the detail that you know this group is going to need regarding both sides, because here we are talking the west side also.
The west
Like
side.
only
Where
from
the
a
house is.
specific distance from the house to Brewster Road is all we're willing to give you. But that's not really detailed very well on the drawings either. We're just kind of haphazardly picking a number.
Okay.
What I would suggest is postponing, gathering that detail, and then coming back in front of us with all that detail.
And I would also recommend that you prepare to address any kind of landscape that you plan to do. If you have to kill trees or whatever, you need a mitigation
I didn't realize I needed
plan.
that much detail. I'm sorry.
I would just recommend it because knowing that area, there are a lot of big, fully established trees there. So if there are not any that you're going to cut
Right.
down, but if there are, that would have to be talked about. We would have to talk about what you are going to do to mitigate cutting down a live oak or whatever.
Oh no, it's not a live oak. I mean, if there's one or two trees, they're just kind of junky trees anyway. We don't have any live oaks on our property.
I'm sorry.
Me too. I wish I had at least one. I would like to plant some though.
Okay.
I would kind of agree with what you're saying. Let's come back on this and look at it to understand exactly what we're talking about. Otherwise, because I can just tell you right now, I'm not inclined to vote for that 25-foot reduction on the west side, and I don't think most of us would be. I don't know. I can't speak for them all, but I just know in the past, from what we've dealt with in the past, that's never happened. And I mean, I could be surprised, but I don't think that's going to happen.
That it would pass. Okay. And if it didn't pass, then what? I mean, I already have my structure there, so then what would happen?
No, I'm not talking about the west side. I'm talking about the east side.
The east side. Okay.
So I would suggest that if you drew a specific plan of where that driveway would be, some sort of land survey, so we know exactly what we're talking about. Like you said, Mr. Swindell, it's hard to tell from a hand-drawn,
Okay.
I'll be happy to assist you if you have any questions.
And then we could, like I said, then we could do just like we did with the west side. So in this section, we could relax that.
Right.
But on the the whole east side, I just don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, so I have a question. My driveway, before this happened, we were in the process of redoing it. It is completely torn up right now, and it's been this way for months. Would it be okay if I work on moving the driveway and at least finalizing the part that's already there? It's such a mess when it rains. It's slop. People are getting stuck in my yard.
Yeah.
So can I fix and shift over the driveway on the west side to where it needs to be? Is that okay? Like, can I move forward with at least some of this construction that's already
That is a
started?
risk that you're going to have to take. If you decide to take the risk, that's on you.
Well, like
we
I
can't
said,
tell
I've
you
never
yes or
done this
no.
before, so I'm just trying to understand the
As long as
process, and I want to do it right.
As long as your driveway is 50 feet from there's a portion that's already constructed, but as long as your new driveway is 50 feet from the side, then it's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll have to think about that, I guess. But
I'm gonna recommend this to you. Meet with staff. Get it done right.
I would like to do that.
So you wouldn't have any if-thens or what about it like that. It's a good thing that you're asking us these questions, so you're not in the dark about that.
Right.
But this is what I would recommend to you. Just speak this to staff.
Okay.
Get everything taken care of.
Okay.
Postpone this and
I appreciate your opinion and
right.
guiding me in the direction I need to go
It's
in.
our job to help you too, and to help the parish and to maintain what the codes of the parish says. But if we can offer you help so that everything works out for you and for fitting with codes, because as Mr. Blosh and Mr. Swindell said, we have had to vote against some of this before,
Right.
and we have to be consistent in our rulings. And so I think postponing it, if that is the motion that that you would like to have us do, and then you do a little bit of work and talk to Ms. Helen and to the other people that you need to talk with, then we would be better prepared to understand
Absolutely.
and to vote.
That's fine. Thank you.
All right, I'll make a motion then to postpone 2025-4463 to January.
Motion by Mr. Swindell, second by Mr. Sanders.
All right. So it's been moved and seconded to postpone. Please vote.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Merry Christmas. All right. Yeah. I really don't care. All right. Now, let's, everybody's out. Okay. I am sorry that I got so confused on that baseball thing, because here we are voting yes, we're going to not do it, or no, we are going to do it, or we're going to think about not doing it, or so I apologize. I did not lead as well as I should have, but I found that very confusing the way it was presented. It just was confusing, and I think that we made a smart decision to postpone if he does not show up next time, and that's all I'll say. All right.
So I'm good with that.
But, all right, moving along, do we have any old business? Mr. Blosh?
No, I don't know that it's old.
Can you put your microphone on, please?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. You don't have any old business?
No old business, but some new business.
Okay. Anybody old business? All right. New business, please.
Okay, we discussed previously at the end of the meeting last time of whether or not this board would ask or make a resolution and request to the council to require continuing education, 4 hours of continuing education for this board.
Mm-hmm.
So I spoke with Helen. I think that the proper way to do this is actually do that in the form of a motion, so that staff can begin to work on that, prepare that for the council if everyone's in agreement. And at that point in time, we'll see what the council thinks about it.
Okay.
Yeah, as I stated, Mr. Liner, the director of the department, is in the process of putting together a training session. He was, I think, waiting for all the appointments to be completed. So, you're welcome to vote for a motion, but I just want to advise the board members that, Mr. Liner is working on scheduling a training session.
Yeah, I don't think that would inhibit it anyway. It would just actually enhance what we're trying to do here, as far as.
And I'd like to get that on record too, that we have requested that, and that we will attend that. Because I agree that's very important.
That would be an actual change to the ordinance, right, that's required for a commissioner?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it'd have to go to the council.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to make that motion at this point formal, to ask for a resolution be drawn by staff to be submitted to the council for an ordinance to be drawn to require 4 hours of continuing education, or whatever staff would recommend, if that's not appropriate, but at least 4 hours of continuing education on an annual basis.
When I took it in Slidell, it was 4 hours. So I think that's probably about right.
Yeah.
And then I took another one in Tangipahoa that was 4 hours, so I think that might be it.
So we have a
Basically what it
motion
is.
by Mr. Blosh. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
And we have a second
Okay.
by Mr. Swindell.
Yeah, and I'll just go further to say that, no one hates continuing education more than me when it comes to this stuff, but I think it's incredibly important.
It is.
Especially considering like what Mr. Swindell had pointed out earlier. Your next stop here is 22nd Judicial. So we really, really need to understand what we're doing here and be on an annual basis, to go through that. I think it's important. And I think every other Board of Adjustment in the area that I know of does that already.
Right.
So,
And the state offers one too. So, because I took that one as well. Okay, so we have, I need to vote on that? All right, let's vote.
Motion carries. All in favor? We'll get that motion started.
All right, thank you. I would like to just say, if you are not going to be able to attend, please let us know, because this is the second meeting that we've had in a row where we only had 4 people. So we need to know a little bit ahead of time. But if you're having lunch and it runs late, it's okay, Mr. Blush. I'm just teasing you.
There is a, in our charter, I think there is a bit about missing meetings and how that pertains to membership. So
Yeah,
just at some point, we should consider that.
We need to take a look at that. I think it's 3 meetings, if memory serves me correct, but
I
I
would
could
have
be
to
wrong.
check, yeah.
So why don't we check that just to make sure? All right, before we adjourn, I just want to tell you that it's been a great year serving with you. They will vote on my position on Thursday, as I understand it, as well as some planning and zoning places. So I hope to see you next year. But it has been a pleasure. I admire each of you professionally. I just can't think of a better board to serve with than the people on this board, and I appreciate it. I wish you a very, very Merry Christmas. To the staff, thank you for your endless hours of work. I know what it must take. I don't know how Helen does it, quite honestly, or her staff, but we're very appreciative of all the information we receive. And I just wanted to say thank you. And I know I speak on behalf of the committee when I say thank you, especially to our council and to Helen and her staff. So with that being said, Merry Christmas to all, and I hope that we see each other in the new year.
Motion
with
to
that,
adjourn?
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Blush and Mr.
That was a reminder.
Christmas past?
Yes.
Running unopposed?
You know, I honestly don't know. I think so, but I'm not positive.